Hey, it's Mazzy here, and welcome back to the channel. I sympathize with the Beatles' Apple and the Beatles' estate because you're never going to please everyone, so you got to please yourself. See what I did there? I think. The reissue world, the remix world, the repackage world, different fans want different things. And I'm here to talk about the George Harrison Let It Roll. Now, this is a comp uh, that came out originally on compact disc in 2009 here. And this is a good collection. Now, there seems to be not the definitive collection. There's been several collections. I did a video when this was announced showing all those collections. I'll put a link at the end of this video so you can go watch it. I'm not going to relitigate that. When people heard that this vinyl version, the first time on vinyl was coming out, there was excitement and there was disappointment. And, I'm kind of torn in the middle, but I want to talk about this on two levels. First of all, the content. It's a double record set and it's beautifully packaged. There's a little bit of you can see artifacts in this blown up photograph, but I think it works in terms of the graphic side of it. It almost seems like they lifted the CD design and kind of blew it up. It didn't seem as honest or as pure as it could have been. But the package itself is very nice. It's like this glossy, wonderful, heavy friggin' package. The essay is the original essay from the 2009 CD written by Warren Zanes, which is fine. All the credits here, remastered by Giles Martin, engineered by Paul Hicks, are exactly the same of the CD. Now, there is some, I think, confusion or just people who aren't knowledgeable on the situation. They'll say all they're doing is cutting from a CD. Well, hopefully they're not. But there are some issues in the sound of this record that I want to kind of go over. Now, musically, this is excellent. And I know those of you who watch me all the time, I always hammer in, it's the music, stupid. The music comes first. And absolutely it does. But you want good sound. And after listening to this is a very enjoyable comp. All the songs are wonderful. It's a great listening experience. I love that it's not in chronological order. It's a nice mix. There's, 3 live tracks, and the live tracks are all the Beatle tracks, basically the Harrison Beatle tracks from the concert for Bangladesh. That's fine. I'm not quite sure it needed that, but, those were recorded during the solo years, concert from Bangladesh in 1971. But I would have put on at least the song Bangladesh, because the live version from that concert kicks ass over the 45, the anemic 45 version by George Harrison. That would have been a great addition on here too. But I kind of think they should have reconfigured this. Now, in the thing of purity, and they just wanted to release it as the CD was released. But I don't think, since it was a comp then, it needs to be as pure. I think it should have been reconfigured, rechanneled, maybe expanded to 3 albums. Of course, that would have cost more. Already people are bitching about the price, but I see where the cost went somewhat. Again, let me just look in here. They're all polyline sleeves. I tell you, first of all, the pressing itself is beautiful, perfect, heavyweight. This is like 180 grams, I guess, which doesn't really matter. Almost seems 200 at times, but it's, nice custom labels in poly sleeves. But you also get extra sleeves that, you shouldn't keep your records in these, for the most part. But you have some of the pictures that were in the original CD book that came out. But unfortunately, you don't have all the pictures, so there's no extra book in here. Maybe they should have put a book as an addition so people feel they get a little more value. But it's nicely done, nicely put together. This is now George Harrison's estate, the last, I think, issue. He switched from Universal. I think when All Things Must Pass came out, he switched to BMG. So BMG is the parent company that is issuing the Dark Horse catalog and the George Harrison catalog now. Visually, it looks good. When I put this on my turntable, it sounded good. I wouldn't say it sounded great. It's not bad. And I think most people who would buy this collection, most of the Beatle fans, on the gear they have, will be very happy with this. It's the songs you like, some of them are missing. A lot of songs that you think should be here aren't here, but it's a good sounding comp. And that's just it. It's a good sounding comp, but I did kind of a comparison. I did it with the CD first, just to see. Now, definitely I give the vinyl the edge over the CD, but not by a lot. This opens up quite a bit the louder you crank it. Really crank this thing, and it's a mother. It sounds really good, but I don't understand. I know this is goes back 55 years. 1970 was All Things Must Pass. And so you got these old tapes and things. And the Harrison estate, I think all the estates pretty much of the Beatle thing, except for the monobox we know about, they do these digital cuts. And it seems to me, I hope at least, this was mastered for vinyl. Now, those of you who are not really vinyl people don't understand this, or maybe just don't know it. Usually when an album is mastered as CD and an album is mastered to vinyl, they're different masters. So it's not just taking a CD and slapping it on a vinyl record. So there's a little bit of ignorance there, and just maybe not unknowledgeable, no knowledge. I know knowledge. So there is a difference, and a good mastering engineer will master it differently for vinyl, and that's the magic. And I'm not against vinyl copies of digital things and digitally mastering. We know that Mobile Fidelity does a lot of that through their DSD process. I'm probably confusing the Beatle freaks who are watching here. They don't really care about this stuff, but I think it matters in this discussion. But it can be done really well. They don't always do it great, but sometimes they do it beautifully. There are a lot of great albums cut from digital. My opinion on this one, it's okay, and unfortunately just okay. So I listened to the CD, I listened to the, different tracks, and there were a handful of tracks on this album. I decided to pull out some of my George Harrison 45s, because 45s are usually cut hotter. Sometimes they're different edits or even different mixes sometimes. But I pulled out my French Pathé Marconi, My Sweet Lord, Isn't It a Pity? My American picture sleeve, What is Life? Apple Scruffs. I left it in the other room, of My Sweet Lord. George Harrison's Blow Away, The Permanent Years. Look at that perm, George. Love it. All Those Years Ago, the John Lennon tribute with Ringo and Paul and Linda. The cover, the great cover, is kind of his comeback as a solo artist of Got My Mind Set on You. That opens up the comp, this new comp that just came out on vinyl. And of course, his Beatley return of style to When We Was Fab. And then of course, one more, Cheer Down. Now, Cheer Down was a song, an orphan song, that was on the soundtrack to Lethal Weapon 2. And I have that soundtrack because it was a Beatles song. That was the only place you can get it without getting the 45. So that's on there too. Now, just a couple of things just to throw out here. These are songs that should have been on. Obvious choices. This song with the original picture sleeve. The story behind this song. This is a promo, white label promo copy, talking about that lawsuit. I'll get into that in a little bit. And of course, sped up vocals, but it's just a great kind of soulful George Harrison song. Oh, not him again? And the great New Year's Eve perennial favorite, Ding Dong, Ding Dong. Now, there are other songs they could have done, a couple of deep tracks. They could have reconfigured this album, but they decided not to, and it's their prerogative to do that. Now, as I said, I listened to this straight through, and it sounded really good, but not fantastic. I kept feeling, and it's a feeling, and it's an aural sensation that something was missing. It wasn't great. Again, played the CD, played this. This has the benefit, but again, crank this up, it'll open up a little more. But then I listened to My Sweet Lord several times on both. And the great thing about My Sweet Lord, first of all, is to me one of the best spiritual rock songs ever. He got sued because of the chiffons, He's So Fine, which is kind of ridiculous. It's more like and influenced by Edwin Hawkins Singer's Oh Happy Day. And he even admitted that. And it's got that spiritual sound. But I always liked the original All Things Must Pass. Phil Spector did a fine job. All these people that want to reinvent and take off that Spector thing, I totally disagree with. And when the remix came out that Danny and company did for All Things Must Pass, it was okay, but it wasn't as consistent. I don't think that album needs fixing. It's an amazing album. It's the #1 Beatles solo album, just slightly above Plastic Ono Band for me. There's on my channel another list of the rankings of the Beatles solos, so check that out if you haven't already. But that song, it's amazing the layers of acoustic guitars on that song. You got George Harrison on acoustic guitar, you got Eric Clapton on acoustic guitar, you got Joey Melland from Badfinger on acoustic guitar, you got Peter Frampton on acoustic guitar, and it's just a layers of musicians. And when I played the new comp, that was one of the songs I really wanted to listen to because I have this sense memory of how beautiful that song is recorded and how it sounds on my stereo. Now, do you need a good stereo? No, it's a great song. The single's great. You don't need a great stereo. It's a well-produced, well-recorded song. I played it here, and the acoustic sounds were good. All those layers, a little too muddy for my taste in terms of my memory of what that song can sound like. Something was missing. But I do like, what is it, a minute in, whenever it is, and all of a sudden Ringo's drums come in, and they kind of snap nicely, and they were okay. And I noticed on this and the CD version of My Sweet Lord, all of a sudden, when all those background vocalists come in, singers come in, and the drums kick up, it gets a lot louder on both versions here. I felt something was wrong or something was missing. So I went back, I took my 55-year-old copy, my original copy of All Things Must Pass, and I played My Sweet Lord. And I had it cranked, level matching to the most part. It was a different setup. I think I had to change it about 2 steps. I think this was actually a little louder on my stereo, but I played this and oh my God, the depth, the openness. It was like a religious experience for Mazzy, and I'm not a religious person, but a spiritual experience nonetheless. It opened up. Those acoustic guitars were just revolving around my head, even on a 2-channel system, not a surround system or mixer or anything. It sounded excellent on this 55-year-old album. I would say if this is an A+, the sound of the new version is like a C+ or B-. I mean, without comparing, you're not going to miss anything. And most fans and most record people who probably buy this record won't know the difference. Again, it's a good sounding copy version on this new George Harrison comp, but in a way it's a pedestrian sounding copy. And what is wrong? Why aren't these artists and these estates trying to lift it to make it sound better? Now, there's this whole, snootiness people go about audio files and everything, and I dip my toes in it. I have a nice system, not high end, but certainly not a low end system, and I can tell the difference. I've known these songs for 40, 50 plus years, and when I listen to it, I know when there's something missing. These songs are ingrained in my brain and in my heart and my soul. And I can tell there's something missing. Maybe new fans won't notice, and people who aren't as familiar with this music won't notice. And there's several songs on here that are more semi-deep cuts that non-Beatle people will notice. Now, there's always the Beatle people, so we don't want that. We've heard that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to argue with you because I think on the surface, this is an excellent comp. It's got one of the best cover packages, photographs. I love the design of this comp. Finally, they did a nice design for a George Harrison comp. Again, historically, if you watch that video of mine, you'll see all the kind of bad design things they did on George Harrison best ofs historically. And there's good songs on it. You got Marwa Blues that came up to the end, which is this beautiful kind of instrumentally Hawaiian thing. That should have popped better, even as late as that album Brainwashed when it came out. The Jeff Lynne kind of mix. It sounds better on the original copy than here. All those years ago sounded a little thin on here comparison. Again, if you don't compare, you're not going to probably miss anything, but it's such a missed opportunity Some of these recordings may be from digital. I don't know. I don't know if the later stuff was digital or tape at Friar Park there. I don't know the answer to that. But just the sound of this, even when I put on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the live version from Bangladesh, it was good. And that's a great version of it with Eric Clapton, that great solo. He's on Mars. I pulled out my original copy of the concert for Bangladesh, and this was anemic in comparison to it. So I don't know what else to say about this record. This is a good record, and it could have been a great record. I don't know if it's necessarily because it's not from all analog tapes. Again, I said you can do good digital and do it well, but I don't know what the problem is. And the irony is, and I've said this before, in the Lennon estate, the Lennon things obviously are from digital things, and they do a better job. Those sound excellent. The evolution mixes, the remixes. I still like the originals better, but Sean and company, they seem to get the sound better. It's kind of silly for someone like me, just a novice, but someone who's listened to this music for up to a half a century or so, to criticize Danny Harrison and Giles Martin and Paul Hicks and the team that put these things together, Olivia Harrison as well. But I think they could have done better. George Harrison deserves better than this. If you don't have any of this music and you have a basic setup, you'll love this. There's nothing wrong with it. The song, the music, it could have been a different configuration of songs, maybe add some, move things around, update it a little bit. But the sources, the way they mastered this, or the mixes or the mastering, something is off compared to the originals I have. Blow Away, the original is so much better. Ballad of Sir Frankie Crisp, the original is so much better. The acoustic guitars on Give Me Love are so much better on the original Living in the Material World. What is Life is such a powerful song. This one, again, fails in comparison to the original version. So that's it, man. George Harrison, Let It Roll. It's great that it's finally on vinyl, but I think this is a partial failure. So thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you.